Welcome to our Wellness Hub. We're experts in the field of health, wellness, healing, and mindset, have been giving tips for a better and healthier life, inside and out. My name is Moni C. I'm your host and mindset coach. And today we have a very special guest. She is an award-winning frequency artist, Reiki Master, quantum healer, and visionary who empowers women and helps them align their lives. Her name is Britt Michaelian. Britt, thank you so much for being here with us. Start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what are you doing today to help people from around the world. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me, and hello to your audience. I'm so grateful to be here. Okay, so a little bit about me. A lot of people don't know what it means to be a frequency artist. And so I started out as a traditional artist. I went to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago for my bachelor's degree, and then I got master's degrees in art therapy and marriage and family therapy. And at the same time, years and years ago, I had an art agent and my work was in galleries around the United States. And so I was just a traditional artist, and that was wonderful. And then fast forward a couple years, I had some family members, basically all of my family members, my mother, my father, and my sister all had cancer. At the time, I wanted to do something more to help them. So I became a Reiki Master. When I became a Reiki Master, I had sort of a divine download that I was to put the Reiki into my artwork so that it could serve as a healing transmission, so that anybody who would sit before it or be in the space with it would receive healing. So that's basically what my frequency art is. So I believe that when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. So my artwork helps people to heal themselves and therefore heal the world.
That's absolutely fantastic. You told me that you have an MBA in art therapy and also family therapy. Did you take that after you were an artist?
At the same time, yeah. So I got master's degrees in marriage and family therapy and art therapy. And then I worked in a hospital setting when I was doing my practicum. And at the same time, I got a certification as an art therapist in the hospital setting. So I worked in pediatric unit, oncology, and heart transplant units. And then I also worked with the staff if we had patients that passed away. There was one year on Easter that we had one patient who had been in the hospital for years and years, and she was in the pediatric unit with stomach cancer. And the nurses were just very upset because they had been working with her for so many years. And I just happened to be on staff that day. And so I was there sort of to triage with them to help them emotionally process losing this patient. And we did it through artwork, and it was pretty amazing.
It's incredible. And so can you take us through one of your sessions if you can?
Yeah. So basically I went from just painting where I would put paint on canvas, and that was the process. And it was just, I used to work with a lot of water with the acrylic paint. And so there was a lot of kind of control versus being out of control, and then, accepting things kind of like as a metaphor for life. So I've always kind of been very mindful about the way that I create artwork. And then once I started creating frequency paintings, I start with a very sacred process. It is a ritual where I cleanse myself with sage, and I cleanse all of the materials. I say a prayer for God to work through me to send the frequencies and healing energies that anybody around this painting needs in order to manifest whatever it is that they need to manifest in their life. So if that's healing, wellness, if there's a relationship, whatever they need that they're calling into their life, that the painting serves as a portal for them to reach that. And so the creation process involves kind of a meditation, this prayer, this sage, then I paint. And then after I paint, I use powdered minerals, and I studied stone medicine, which is, people think crystals, which I wear. I love them. They're beautiful, and they all have stones have different frequencies, and they actually have frequencies because of where they were found in the earth. Just like our body has energy meridians that run through our body, just like, an acupuncture and that type of thing. The earth has the same thing with the ley lines. And so those correspond to our energy meridians. And so there's different stones that I use. Like I use a lot of selenite, which is purifying and cleansing. And then I use a lot of amethyst, which helps connect with the divine. And then I use other things like rose quartz, which obviously helps us connect with the heart chakra. And blue apatite, which helps us connect with our inner wisdom. And there's a whole number, depending on the painting that I'm creating. Most of the paintings correspond with different chakras. And, there's other things like color therapy, which is a real thing. So we get different emotional responses and energies just from the vibrations and frequencies of color. And so there's just a lot of different elements that are working. And then once I'm finished with the painting, which usually takes sometimes months, sometimes it's like layers. Sometimes I'll think a painting's done and then I go back to it. It just sort of calls me. And then I'll do another, layer of color or whatever, or more crystals or whatever it is. And then I tune everything with a 528 hertz tuning fork so that all of the materials are tuned to the frequency, the miracle frequency. And so that, these paintings can just bring in the most love and healing energy into the world possible.
That's absolutely fascinating. So you do these courses and sessions in person, but also online?
So no, I'm not doing one-on-one work anymore. So I have something called the Quantum Manifestation Self-Study Program. So in my work that I was doing when I got my master's degree, I actually started coaching women and business owners and things like that. And that has kind of transformed into work that I was doing. And I still do it occasionally. So when somebody buys a piece of my artwork, they can choose to have a healing done on their home, on their body, or they can do quantum healing hypnosis, which is what I do with people. And I like to do that in several sessions, not just one, because I feel like you need to integrate the information that comes through. And so because I'm not able to work with as many people as I would like to one-on-one, I created this self-study program so that you can study yourself in this quantum manifestation self-study. So whatever it is that you want to manifest, I have a lot of people who are overcoming cancer or who have had cancer in the past and they want to know why. Or I have people who have business questions, or sometimes they have all of those questions. And so this gives them a process that they can go through in 5 days or 5 weeks and just explore themselves. And it goes through limiting beliefs and it goes through what they've experienced in the past and why those limiting beliefs happened. And then what they want to happen from now on. And it just gives people a glimpse of who they are from a soul perspective. And it allows them to sort of make adjustments and align the decisions in their life so that they can be really on track with what their soul's mission in this lifetime is. And I believe that my artwork actually serves as a portal for this. So my artwork, actually, I've had several healers who have confirmed that the artwork actually does transmit healing frequencies. So right now you're receiving healing frequencies from this painting behind. Yeah. So it does transmit through digital and print reproductions. So yeah, it's kind of exciting, to think about things like this now. So, and I consider the healing work that I do with my clients to also be a form of frequency art.
Absolutely. And people in this program that you have, they actually also paint? They also create something?
No,
they teach them? Or
and there's a lot of like journaling and a lot of introspection. So they're welcome to do whatever comes to them. Some people might want to write a song or a poem or however it comes to them. It's just, or paint, but not everybody feels like they're creative. So it's interesting. I'm actually thinking about developing a program to help other artists become frequency artists so that they can, so that their art can transmit healing frequencies as well. And so that they can create a process that really allows them to serve in the way that speaks to them, because not everybody is going to want to create the same way that I do. And so it's really just finding that way. So I am considering developing a course like that too. But right now we're just with the quantum manifestation self-study and my artwork. Yeah.
That's absolutely wonderful. Now, and this is one question that keeps popping into my mind. You talk about alignment. How does someone know when they are in alignment?
I think when you're in alignment when you feel a sense of joy throughout your day. So when you're in alignment, you're just in a state of joy and acceptance. And at the same time, I have to say, it doesn't mean that you don't experience kind of challenges in life. You definitely experience challenges in life when you're in alignment. It's just that, you have a sense of knowing and your life has a sense of meaning. That you just don't have before. And so it really gives you clarity. And so another reason why I did this program as the self-study program is because I feel like people want to go back and do this. And they do. I mean, people have reported to me, they've done it several times, because once you have a process of introspection and you really start to understand yourself, then you're like, oh, I want to ask this question of myself. I want to know this, and so it gives you a way to go back and get your own answers. And really my goal is to have people find their inner wisdom, and they're not always looking for somebody else to help them do this work. They're really it gives them a way to do it themselves. I'm just showing them how.
Now, one tip for our audience to help them with their healing journey, besides taking your course.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest tips that I have is to really maintain your energy hygiene. And what that means is just like clearing your energy every day and tapping in and seeing if you have any tension anywhere in your body. Where is it? Is there an emotion attached to it? Can you release it? And if you don't feel like you can release it, maybe going for a walk or, moving your body in some way to allow the energy to move through you. And I think this is a really important practice, especially with everything going on in the world right now. A lot of people are feeling kind of a low level of anxiety or maybe a high level of anxiety. And just to tune in and make sure that we're aware of that so that we can just kind of breathe and give our body what we need. While we're embodied here on earth, I think, the more that we can be paying attention to the messages that our bodies are sending us, the more that we will be in alignment.
The better. So what is the best way for people to contact you? The audience is going to have all the information below, but what is the best way? Through your website?
Yeah, I think I'm on Instagram. So if people want to send me a message on Instagram, I'm very, responsive there. And then also, my website. So brittmichaelian.art is the best way to just kind of see all the things that I'm doing and things that I have coming up.
Wonderful. Well, what can I tell you? Our time is up. Time just flies.
It does.
Flew. And we did it quite fast. So I want to thank you again for coming here and sharing with us your knowledge, your experience, your tips. You're really making a huge difference on the earth. And I really hope to see you again. We hope to see you again. Until then, goodbye and thank you again.
Thank you so much.